Hey, I'm back again. Peace, love. What's kind of bugging me that I've left some things out in my first video when we were talking about child abuse. So I went and looked up the Sean Ryan show, which I was correct on that, and the young gentleman who was doing the hacking of these predatory websites, sexual abuse websites against children, is named Ryan Montgomery. And he actually went on Sean Ryan's show, which you guys can take a look at that for yourself. But he did go on there, and when he was explaining all of these various websites, even me knowing that child abuse exists and that it's more rampant than we really understand, it blew my mind that people were still doing this and that it's running rampant through the internet. And where are they getting these kids from? And these children that are on here being abused for other people's delight, and they're sending these people are getting pictures and they're getting film of children being abused and they're paying for it. Where are these kids? And why in the frig can we not trace these websites and then find out who these people are? I mean, we're quicker to put somebody in jail for robbing a bank, or we're quicker for arresting somebody for stealing money from a company of something of some sort, some type of white collar crime they like to call it. There's more time in jail spent in jail for that than there is for molesting or raping a kid. I mean, come on. America needs to lead the pack on this and really stop putting this on the back burner. Or even worse than that, stop pretending it doesn't exist. We've been doing that crap for a while. We've been so quiet about child abuse and acting like it's not here, and we don't stiffen our laws on it. Okay, yeah, so we have a list now. Go take a list. Go take a look at your list in your neighborhood right now. I bet you $1,000 you probably have more people living around you. I don't care where you live. You have more people living around you that are on that list than you realize. I've looked before on these lists, and they're all over the friggin' place. Now, granted, I get it. Society gets it. Not all these people are child molesters, okay? Some of them may be a situation where they're 18 and their girlfriend's 15, something like that. That's not what I'm talking about, okay? I'm talking about people who are predatory in nature and seek out children that they know they can manipulate, they know they can take them, they know they are vulnerable, and they know they can do whatever they want to them because nobody's going to do anything. America needs to wake the frig up. Really, the whole world does. And I came back also to tell you this. I think we all remember maybe 15 years ago, maybe a little bit more, when there was a gentleman in Boston that had come out and said that a Catholic priest had molested him. And that kind of started this whole snowball of the Catholic Church and priests being moved around like chess pieces. If they got in trouble at this rectory, they moved them to another church. They never got rid of the priests. They never had any criminal charges against the priests. They just kind of moved them around. So if they were molesting kids here and people found out, then they moved them over here. What the frig is that? I mean, and people say, well, if they just would have let the priests get married. That has nothing to do with it. Okay? Abusing a child, having sex with a child, has nothing to do with somebody being married. Okay? Something's wrong with that person that's doing that. Okay? So society needs to step up. We need to protect our kids. We need to start talking about it openly. I've never had a problem talking about it openly. And I will tell you this, personally for myself, I had one incident with a priest at a Catholic church school that I was raised in, and there'll be people on here who know me on my YouTube channel that went to that church as well in that school, and I'm not going to mention it, but one of the priests that was on the list for being known to have molested children at this particular church this priest was on that list that I went to school. But I knew that already because the incident I had with him went like this. Me and a friend of mine, okay, we were both 8, and we were out riding our bikes, and we all knew, it was a well-known thing at the school, we all knew that this particular priest in the rectory, which was the building in which the priest lived, they had candy in this one particular closet. All the kids knew it. Oh, if you go to see Father so-and-so, there's candy in the closet, he'll give you candy. So we all knew that. Well, we're kids. So guess what? We decided one day on our bikes to go take a ride, and visit Father so-and-so. So as me and my friend did this, my friend Kelly, and shout out Kelly if you remember this. I'm not going to say your last name though. So I remember she had went somewhere in the house. I don't know where she went. And all I remember was the smell of sauce cooking. So there was like there was a woman there that was like a maid for them or something, or their cook or whatever, housekeeper. So she must have been cooking somewhere in the house. And I remember this particular priest was sitting down at a desk, and he told me to come over and sit with him. So he sat me up on his lap. Well, me at 8 years old, I wasn't used to that because my dad wasn't real affectionate and never put me on his lap and rarely hugged me or anything. So I wasn't used to that from a male. And that doesn't mean if a male's doing it, that's wrong. There's plenty of wonderful men that hug and kiss their children. That's not what I'm talking about. But as a kid, I knew that what sitting on his lap didn't feel comfortable to me. So here I am, I'm sitting on his lap, and he's talking about something. I don't remember what he's talking about. But I know it was summertime, so I had a little pair of shorts on. You know, 8-year-old kid. And I remember he put his hand on my thigh, and then he was kind of moving it up and down my thigh. And all of a sudden, something just kind of clicked, and I was like, I don't like this. This doesn't feel right to me. And I kind of slid off of his lap and kind of like, I don't know, hey, gotta go, Father. And I remember went to find my friend Kelly, and we left on our bikes. Now, at the moment in time, I didn't equate it to sexual abuse or anything sexual for that matter. It wasn't until I got older that I realized that what he was doing was attempting something very inappropriate, and I could tell. And I'm not surprised that he was on that list, because I'm pretty sure there's other kids that probably have some worse stories to tell. And I hope not. I mean, I hope that didn't happen to them, but I'm going to assume something must have happened for him to have made the list. So I only wanted to come out here with this part too, because I really think it's so important that as a society we start waking up. We start waking up and understanding that we're more than just the human body we see. And whatever you choose to do in this human body to others that causes pain, you're going to feel it. You're going to feel it. So keep that in the back of your head when you're making choices in your life, because the way you treat others is going to come back to haunt you if it's bad. And if you're molesting or sexually abusing kids, it's going to come back. You need help if that's what you're doing. And I have no problem talking about it. And if I know somebody is that, and I do, as I've mentioned before, and no, I won't put their name out there. They know who they are. And if they're listening to this video, they know who they are. And they know I've always had a big mouth. And I've always said something. And it kind of got me into trouble with, family and friends, because, certain people didn't like it because I was saying, A, B, and C about so-and-so. Even though they knew damn well it was true that this person is a child molester. But for whatever reason, people don't like to talk about it. They take it, put it in a box, put it to the side. Well, that's where it needs to stop. We need to stop doing that. This has grown so out of control that really none of our children are safe. And we really need to do something about this. So you're going to find me talking about this more on different levels. But I just want to touch base with this so you guys can find the interview on the Sean Ryan show. And that young man's name is Ryan Montgomery. And I'll leave it below my YouTube information so you can find it. But in any event, I just had to come back and say that. So do you know anybody that was abused, or were you abused as a kid? I mean, let's talk about it. I think that's part of the problem. We don't want to talk about it. We want to kind of keep it under the rug because it makes us uncomfortable. Well, we have to have the uncomfortable conversation first before we can get to figuring out how we can stop this and what causes it and why people do it and how we can help people that have this issue, or stop them completely for touching children and teaching our kids to protect themselves. It's important. All right. I just wanted to touch base with you on that, folks. I love you. Peace, love. Happy New Year.